This is lecture 37, and at the very last we were looking how to generate a low swing output from a high swing voltage mode output driver. So I will just have a recap of that. So we have high swing voltage mode output driver, and we call it high swing because you get the maximum swing possible. And the simplified diagram for that output driver was this. This is VDD, and this was the output driver. And we told that if we want a low swing, what we can do is we can have. So let me just draw another where we have another transistor, sorry, another resistance with a switch. So just have a look at this, that this is R up transistor. Okay, these both are R up. This is D bar, and this resistance is R down, and it is D and D bar. Okay, so we have the similar thing on the right hand side. So if you look this combination, what you will have R up, let's say D is equals to high, then you have R up and R down connected in this manner, right? Is there any confusion in this? No, right? So this is R up and R down, and what we found that the output swing, which is equals to VOP minus VON, let me just write it as V out, is VOP minus VON, where your VOP and VON are these nodes, is equals to VDD by 2 into RT 1 by RU minus 1 by RD. Okay, so this was the output swing, and at the same time we ensured that 1 by RU plus 1 by RD is equals to 1 by RT. This is from a channel termination requirement. Okay, so now if I want to just write both these equations to find what R out, RU and RD should be, it will be just, I am rewriting this equation. So 1 by RU minus 1 by RD is equals to V out divided by VDD by 2 into RT. Just rewriting the equation so that I can simplify that. So 1 by RU is equals to, so wait a minute, this is 1 by RT. So 1 by RU is equals to 1 by 2 RT from this equation into 1 plus V out by VDD by 2, right? Okay. Similarly, 1 by RD is equals to 1 by 2 RT into 1 minus V out by VDD by 2. Okay, so now what you can see from these two is that depending on the output swing, I have to change the resistance, and it's a more or less a linear combination. If you just rewrite it as GU, which is equals to 1 by RU, is GT by 2 into 1 plus V out by VDD by 2. Writing it in this manner will just help you that as your V out increases linearly, your GU will change linearly, which means that, let's say I use multiple resistances, okay, So let's say these are actually K resistances which are equals to, I am saying K times something as, okay, let's say K times R T, and here also similarly I have, means they're all switched resistances right now, just assume they're all switched resistances. This is K times RT. Okay, so what it means is that if let's say I select M such resistances here, okay, if I select RU is equals to K times RT by P. If I select P such resistances, then the RU will be this, right? And the rest of the resistances I can choose for RD, which is K minus P. So you see that when you look at 1 by RU, you see that is linearly related to V out. Okay. And when you look at GU, you see that this is linearly related to V out. If my V out scales linearly, my GU and GT scales linearly. That is like if admittance is scaling linearly, your resistance is inversely proportional. Okay, so you have a fixed number of resistors. You just share those resistors between the up and down combination, depending on what swing you want. Is there any confusion in this? Because this is going to be the basis of equalization in voltage mode output driver. So we can basically spend more time on it if you have any questions on it. Okay. So the thing which you see here is that resistance is inversely proportional to the output swing, or admittance is directly proportional to the output swing. Now look, what will be the power consumption in the output driver? So I from the supply is equals to VDD minus VOP by RU plus VDD minus VON by RD, right? That's the total current which you are drawing from the supply. So this I can just write it as VDD. Now VOP is equals to your common mode voltage plus half of the swing, right? Because we are just considering plus minus half. What was the common mode voltage? VDD by 2. So I can say this is VDD by 2 plus output swing V out by 2 by RU plus VDD minus VDD by 2 minus V out by 2 by RD. You simplify this, it will be VDD by 2 into 1 by RU plus 1 by RD, okay, then minus V out by 2 1 by RU minus 1 by RD. Okay, now we know that 1 by RU plus 1 by RD is 1 by RT as per the channel termination. So this is VDD by 2 RT. Okay, now use the relation. So we are looking for an expression for 1 by RU minus 1 by RD, and if you see the relation for that, okay, so you see 1 by RU is related to output swing in this manner, right? So I can just use the same thing, that will be VD V out by 2. Okay, so this is V out by VDD by 2 into RT, right? We're just replacing the equation there, nothing more. So now this will be, your 2 cancels here, you have VDD by 2 RT times 1 minus V out by VDD whole square, and this is 1 minus 2. Okay. So what you see here is that the current is scaling in a quadratic fashion with respect to the output swing. Okay. And what will be the power consumption? That is VDD times I, which is VDD square by 2RT into 1 minus V out by VDD whole square. This is the power consumption. So when we wanted the maximum swing, pardon? Okay. So when we wanted the maximum swing, we had V out equals to VDD by 2, right? Which implies that the power consumption is, you substituted back there, this is equals to VDD square by 4RT. This is what we had for when we wanted the maximum swing at the output. Now, if you want to reduce the swing, let's say the minimum swing will be 0. V out is equals to 0. This leads to the power consumption of VDD square by 2RT. So putting a resistive divider and using it to create a different voltage at lower voltage at the output, you are spending more power. You get a smaller swing, but you spend more power. So that is something which we have to look in more detail. So let me just plot this first. How does it look like? So this is output swing V out by VDD, and here is the power consumption. So let's say this is half. So this will be the power consumption VDD square by 4RT, and this thing scales quadratically, so this will be something here. And this value is just 2 times of the power consumption. So you see, as the swing is going lower, you are spending more power in the output driver. Okay, and if you want to look at the exact implementation, just have a look at the exact implementation. So okay, so let's say here the looking up impedance is R up when it is on, R up in both the cases. Similarly, selecting, okay, forget it. So you have another so this is basically controlled by D, and this is controlled by D bar, and the outputs of, so this is single-ended. So you have the similar thing on the right hand side, right? And here the looking up when it is on and is R down and R down, right? This is how you can basically create this output driver with a variable swing which you want. Okay. But what we have seen is this particular output driver is actually having a more power consumption. So is this thing clear by till now? Okay. So the drawback, if I just highlight it as a drawback of resistive divider is, so let's say this the drawback is resistive divider leads to more power consumption. Okay. So we started all with the requirement that the channel may not require that you transmit a large swing, and you can basically transmit a lower swing and you can save power. But what turned out that if you are going to do it this way, you can transmit a lower swing but you are spending more power. So this is not that useful for us. So what should be the way, what can be the other way to have a lower swing and a lesser power consumption? Yeah, but the thing is in PMOS, right, you cannot have a lower VDD because the PMOS will get crushed. Sources of PMOS and NMOS, yeah, you can do that. But still there will be a certain range. So that is what we looked yesterday, right, that you have a pre-driver for PMOS and NMOS which is having a lower voltage, different voltages. Right, but the thing is, so you look at, right, the at least the still the thing is that the minimum voltage which you can go in this circuit is 0. I am still not considering that I can have a negative voltages. Don't take that, means there is still will be a limit. So whatever negative voltage also you choose, that will have a limit. Here we consider that 0 voltage is the minimum voltage. And the point where this output driver doesn't give you a low swing is that with the 0 input voltage, your PMOS gets cut off. Okay. So does that make sense? So see, so take up one by one. For the PMOS as a switch, at the top, we want to lower the VDD. But at the same time, the minimum voltage which we have is 0. We do not have anything lower than that, and it should act as a switch. And we can't do that because it gets cut off at the minimum of VDD we can go is V threshold voltage of PMOS. That is the minimum we can go. Right? So we just need to replace this switch which can work with the lower supply. Which can, right now you think we need to, so the thing is here still I am saying that I am having 0 and VDD which is 0 and 1 volt. Right now let's assume that. The control voltage is still 0 and 1 which are limited by the supply, but the output swing I want to reduce. So I want to reduce the supply of the output driver. So we need to just replace it with a switch which can work with a lower source of drain voltage. So what do you think of it? NMOS is a switch. So let's say if I just replace this with an NMOS, right? I can have, just for example, I can have let's say this voltage is VTHP, the same voltage which I was using before, and surely this voltage will be lesser than mod VTHP, right? And the control voltage, I said I can have a 0 or 1 volt as a control. So this is 1 volt. So in the same condition, where the PMOS was not working, the NMOS is working. Means in many cases it will work. The only requirement is that 1 minus mod VTHP should be greater than VTHN. Right? If this condition is followed, then you can still work. So this replacing the PMOS with the NMOS actually leads to a low swing output driver, which is also called as N over N output driver. Okay, and the basic circuit diagram is, now here you should be a little bit careful that what should be the control, because both are NMOS. And let's say I'm just making this as the channel output impedance is 2RT. Now if this is D, here this should be D bar. Okay. So this is, in this case, there is no limit for the lower. You can go as much low as possible till the time you are having a 0 and 1 volt available to you. Here the actual problem is going higher. We will see the problem later, but this is the basically used for a low swing voltage mode output driver. So here we again have to, so let's say the size of this, I am calling this as W up by L, and this is W down by L. We need to choose W up and W down such that the looking in impedance should be equal to RT, looking in and looking down, both the cases. So the size of the NMOS and the control voltage, they are right now in your hand to control such that the output impedance of both of these equals to 50 ohms. Okay. So is there any question on this? Yeah, so the thing is, if the depending on the swing, so what is, let me just say, so let's say when it operates, what's the case? Okay, so in one of the operating mode, when this particular NMOS is on and this NMOS is on, right? There's a differential thing, both are on, and just pick up a voltage. This is, let's say, 0.5 volt. And if this is equals to 2 RT, then this is 0.375 and this one is 0.125, right? So whenever, let me call this M0 and M1, whenever M0 and M1 are on, the output impedance of these both the switches M0 and M1 needs to be 50 ohm. That is how you go about the design, right? So what are the requirements? That for top transistor, VDS is equals to 0.125. You know the drain and source voltage also. I'm just writing it more specifically. And Vs is equals to 0.375, right? So I will choose my NMOS size that at these operating conditions, the looking in impedance is equals to 50 ohms. Okay. Now when you choose the WN, W up and L in such a manner that the impedance is equals to 50 ohm, and you use that device size, you're not changing the swing now. Whenever it is on, you always keep the same swing. But like if you, let's say, if I go from 0.5 to, for example, 0.4, then this impedance will not be 50 ohm. Then I have to, let's say, I have this VDDH which controls it, right? Then I have to, if it goes to 0.54 volt, then to get the same RT equals to 50 ohms, I have to vary VDDH, or I have to vary W up by L. These two you have to vary. But once you decide on a certain amount, certain swing, it will be the same, because this is operating with the same, sorry, this is operating with the same output swing. So is there any confusion in this? So here what I am saying is, just repeat it again, that I have control over the gating voltage of NMOS, and I have size. There are two things I can control, and I can exercise them once I want a certain amount of swing. Okay. So this is one thing, that my VDDH, so it's, let me just say this way, different control voltage for M0 and M1. Okay, that you can have a different control voltage for M0 and M1 such that R up and R down is equals to 50 ohms. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. If I have a same control voltage, what will be the sizes? So what will be the M0? Let me just write it as M0 M1. This is W up by L. W down. Let's keep the minimum length so that you do not have more capacitance. Now I am asking a relation between W up, W up and W down. What should be the relation? Control. So think about it. In the same example, right? For M0, if your control voltage is same, just example, pick 1 volt, right? It doesn't matter what you pick. Then the VGS of M0 is equals to 0.625, right? And VGS of M1 is equals to 1 volt. So you are operating with a greater overdrive for the lower MOSFET, and you still want them to carry the same current and have the same impedance. So your W down should be greater or higher than W up. Sorry, lower or greater. Lower, right? So this relation normally holds true. In the easier part is, if you do it this way, you can just control them by a single output driver. This is something which we discussed before. If you are having a same control voltage, you are controlling with the same pre-driver, so the transitions will be the same, switching on and off. Right? So one of the ways that you let me just say, so let's say in all these cases, you particularly for NMOS, you actually try the voltage control a lot rather than the size control. So the thing is, you design what is maybe the maximum swing you want. So let me just say, I can copy it a bit better. Not copying. Okay. Okay. So if I have n over n, oh, this I can't do here. So D and D bar. Let me just plot here the single-handed. Okay. So this is VDD transmitter, and that I can do surely this part. Okay, and then you have a pre-driver at the input, and let's say the V pre-driver VDD pre-driver is the same for the two. So I am going to do it in this manner. So if I want to change the output swing, so output swing is equals to VDD Tx by 2, right? If I vary output swing, what should I vary if I do not want to vary the size? Pardon? So without varying the size, what can I vary to have this different output swing? VDD pre-driver, right? Huh? Yeah. That will change the, we want to change the resistance, right? So think about it. When we change the output swing, at that time, if we do not do anything, then the resistance got changed. So we will bring it back to the same resistance. So let me just take up an example so it will be more comfortable. So consider the case where you are having a, this is 2 RT, where you are having a half a volt swing, R up and R down, right? This is one case. Yeah. 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 No, so, but when the D changes, then it will change. So what is your question that this voltage is always fixed, it will not even flip the sign? Right? Right. Right. Now the thing is, now, so okay, yeah, that is what you are saying is right. Now I say that, okay, I want a 0.4 volt peak to peak differential swing. Right? So in that case, so this is, here right now this is 0.375, 0.125. Okay? And the total swing is 0.25 volt plus minus. Now if I say I want a point plus minus 0.2 volt output swing, the easiest way is that I change this to 0.4 volt, right? But if I do not do anything, just by changing the supply, my RF will not be equals to 50 ohms, right? Then you will see a different potential. But if I ensure that RF is equals to 50 ohms, then my output, if RF is equals to 50 ohms, then my output will be, Vout will be equals to plus minus 0.2 volt. Now what can fix the RF? Either the size or the gate control. So here I will basically, I will not go for the, I will not go for size, I will go for the gate control. So all these things actually happen in a feedback manner. You change, if you say that you want to change the output swing, it will change the output swing and at the same time it will change the control voltage. It's a more or less a regulator kind of thing. So we'll see that regulator later. So here, so just for example, here you say that in this case, if V control is equals to 1 volt, right? If V control is 1 volt, your VGS is equals to, for the up, let's say look for up, that is 0.625 volt. Okay. And the current consumption in this case is how much? 2.5 milliamps. Right? Whereas in this case, the current consumption is equals to 2 milliamps. Means if I fix that this is 50 ohms and 0.4 by 200 ohms, that's a 2 milliamperes of current. Okay. So the current has reduced. What can you comment on VGS? It will be lesser than 0.6. So you know that Vs is surely equals to, if it is working fine, is equals to 0.3 volt, right? So your Fs dropped. If you drop the G also, if you assume that all the, it means there is no bulk effect here, then if I keep the same VGS, resistance will, no, if I change the VGS also, VG also, So if I maintain the same VGS in both the cases, I can have a 50 ohm impedance to a first order approximation, right? So in this case, if let's say I keep the same VGS of 0.625, what is my gate voltage? Huh? 0.925. This all approximation, I am not considering bulk effect or anything. So you see, if I design it for the highest swing, I have the leverage that I can reduce the supply of the pre-driver and I can still maintain a 50 ohm impedance. Okay, so this thing is normally done in a fashion that, so the one important thing which you should take care here is that the two RT thing is, we are always saying that this is 100 ohms, the channel termination. We are fixing on, we are not changing this. If this particular thing changes, you need to take this also into account for the termination. Okay, so the way to do this kind of like changing the gate control voltage of the pre-driver to maintain the same output swing is done in a feedback manner. Let's see that how we do it, because this is more important. So you have so let's start with this way. So what do we know about so the thing which we know that whenever the output driver is having a match impedance, then the output impedance is always equals to 200 ohms, right? So let's say you are having a VDD transmitter, and this in a match case 50, 100 and 50. This will be the output driver in any case, right? And what we know VDDTX, because that is what we want to transmit. So if we know VDDTX, if we know that this resistance is always going to be 100 ohm, we actually know what the current is going through it, right? So the current, if I write, I is always equals to VDD, whatever swing I want, by 200 ohms. So this is a fixed value. So what I will do, I will first, on a regulation side, I will first generate this current. Means I know this as a fixed. So let's see. Okay, slightly here. So if this resistance, for example, is 200 ohm, which I know in all the case it should be, right? What I did, I generate a current source VBP such that, this is an op amp, so you put in a feedback such that this voltage is also equals to your VDD transmitter. So I generate a current source dictated what my output swing I want. Okay. Now what I do, I pass the same, means I inject the same current into a replica of an output driver. That is a replica of an output, sorry, this is the N over N output driver. So a replica of an output driver is, here I will say, let's say I am controlling both of them with the same control voltage. The output driver is like this, right? You have, this is an output driver, single-ended, right? Whenever it operates, the top and the bottom NMOS are on, and in between resistances 2RT. So so let's say this current, for example, we take a swing of 0.5 volt, then this is 2.5 milliamperes. So let's say I am injecting a 2.5 milliamperes current into this, right? So what can you comment on this voltage? It should be VDDTX. And how can I fix this? So this should be VDDTX ideally. Let me just say prime here. And I need to generate a control voltage for that. So I think this is now a piece of cake for you. Right? So I can generate this control voltage, and this is the control voltage I am going to use for my pre-driver. Yeah. Yeah, means this is the, you can say this is the reference for the control voltage. What I will do, I will use a low dropout regulator to give to my pre-driver. No, so you are saying, is this V control switching? No, so okay, in this, the case where I have taken everything is static. There is nothing switching. The replica of the output driver I have taken only single-handed. This is just a bias section. The bias section generates the supply for your pre-driver, which controls the output driver impedance depending on the swing. So you see right here, if I change my VDDTX from 0.5 to 0.4, my current will change. The change current, in place of 2.5 milliamperes, I will inject 2 milliamperes into the output driver replica, and I can generate a regard, means generate the pre-driver supply voltage with respect to that. So means if all your amplifiers and everything is working fine, you can seamlessly change the output driver swing while maintaining a 50 ohm termination impedance. And you means you need to take care that you should not run out of the control voltage. If you run out of the control voltage, then you go to the size variation. So in this case, I have just shown you that without doing the size variation, if you just use the control voltage variation, you can get a different output swing. Right? Yeah. How this is used for biasing? Okay. So you get that I generated a control voltage which should act as a supply for a pre-driver, right? Okay. Now I will show you how you use it. So let me just pick up. So you see this VDD transmitter, right? This output pre-driver. So I will, what I will do, sorry. So let's say this control voltage is V control pre-driver. Okay. Now I use this V control pre-driver as a reference, and this is connected to here. Let's say this is 1 volt here, right? And similarly for VDDTX, I will have a regulator here also, and this is VDDTX, right? So the circuit which I have shown you, that is just to generate a reference voltage which will act as a switching voltage for my pre-driver. That clear, right? Any questions in this implementation? So the way I have shown you here, that I have used like a 200 ohm impedance, 2.5 milliamperes and everything, which is like burning an equal current I am burning an output driver. I can always have this as a scaled version, like 1 by 16, 1 by whichever number you want it. It will have the matching problem, but within a certain range, you can create this reference voltages. So we came to this M over N output driver because by using a resistive divider in the high swing voltage mode output driver, we were having a large current variation. So what kind of current can you comment on this? So let me just go back to our power consumption for generating a half volt swing, right, from this high swing voltage mode output driver is also called as P over N because of PMOS and NMOS, right? So from high swing output driver, where we have seen this power is equals to VDD square by 4RT into 1 minus your V out by VDD is 2 times that. So that is equals to, so let me just write it, we can work it out. Right, this was the expression, right? You have, yeah. So here VDD is equals to 1 volt. So normally you get V out is equals to half a volt. Now, okay, let me just say here now in place of 0.5 it is actually 0.5 is peak to peak differential. So this is plus minus 0.25 volt. Okay, from a 0.5 volt supply. So this is like 1/4 of the VDD. So here if I replace that thing, this is VDD square by 4RT. VD square 2RT, oh, sorry. This is 2RT and this will be equals to 1 minus 1 by 16 there, right? So it's 2 by 1 by 8, this is 7 by 8 times VDD square by 2RT. Let me just see the expression. For 2RT, 1 minus 2, V out by VDD. VDD is 1/4, 1 by 16, 1 by 8, right? What is the power consumption with N over N output driver for the same thing? So let's not use, so here you should, so what is the current coming from the 0.5 volt supply? This is 0.5 divided by your 200 ohm impedance, right? So this is the current 0.5 divided by 2RT. And this one, the VDD. So right now, so the thing is, normally, sometimes they only consider the supply of the, means supply of the output driver, not the supply of the regulator. Okay. If you consider the supply of the output driver, which in this case is equal to half a volt, so then the power consumption will be lesser. So let's not kind of cheat us. You basically take the regulator supply, so that is still 1 volt VDD, and you have 0.5 by 2 RT. So this is, so okay, let's put the whole numbers here. So VDD is equals to 1. You have 7 by 16 RT in this case. Is there something wrong here? Right? I'm right. Using VDD is equals to 1 volt. That's it. Okay. So 0.5 by 2 RT is the current. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. This is 0.5 by 4 RT. So this will be 1 by 8, right? Right? Which I just, for putting the numbers, I can say this is 2 by 16 RT. Okay. Yeah. This way I say bias, I will have a scaled version. Let's say 1/16 of this. Means surely that is an overhead. But that overhead I am saying I have a scaled replica of this, then it will be less. Okay? And you can also think when you are using for multiple output drivers, that the scale power can be amortized over multiple lanes. So right now you can say that is negligible for this comparison. But you see, right, that using a resistive divider I was in no gain, but using an N over N output driver I can achieve a lower swing. What do you think is if I want to get a higher swing from this output driver, is it possible? So we were using a high swing output driver. When we tried to get a lower swing, we got into cutoff problem another. So we say if we want a lower swing, we will switch over to N over N. Now the question will be, if we are having N over N, why don't use this for all from high to low? Right? Can we do that? Huh? Yeah. The thing is, both these output drivers have a range to work with. Normally N over N output driver you may go at max 0.5. 0.5 is also a higher side. And for a P over N you are like 0.7, 0.6. This is all on 1 volt supply. Okay. So these two output drivers are used like for high swing and low swing depending on the application. Okay. So are there any questions, or we will start with this thing like the equalization in the voltage mode output driver in next class. Before that, if you have any questions, sure.